You know, I really do hope that drinks are included on this show's menu because to me, there is no meal more important than coffee. So, getting right into it, the homepage, which looked like this when it originally launched, great QC there guys, featured the usual layout for these sites. All of the social media platforms in one area because you gotta get all those followers, hint hint nudge nudge. And of course, a good look at our heroines, and more importantly, their product placements. Yeah, let's first go through the appetizers and possibly dessert on this homepage before we get to the main meal that is some of the other pages, as unlike with last year where they just gave us little tidbits here and there, Toei decided to just dump everything onto us at once this year. Guessing that they wanted to try and prevent leaks this year, but come on, this is a totally trustworthy fandom, isn't it? Don't answer that question. Anyway, starting from the outside going in, we have wine glasses that I'm sure just have orange soda in them. We also have some balloons to represent the party theme, though they're not floating nearly as much as these little guys that I'm guessing are going to be the MacGuffins for this season, which include an omelet rice, something stolen from Himari, curry rice with an egg on top, oof, that cholesterol, ramen, probably salad, potato salad, my favorite side dish, and ice cream. So yeah, as many predicted, this already does seem to have a lot of cues from Kira, with one of them outright stealing a gimmick, but I do like the wider variety of foods that include healthier options for the kids, along with some even more unhealthy options. In the middle of all of this, of course, stood our main heroines, which we'll save talking about them for the character section, but considering that this character hasn't been listed yet, we may as well point out what seems to be a bootleg tuxedo mask. Or, considering that he is in white, maybe we should call him the Moonlight Knight. I said Moonlight, damn it! Anyway, can't say much other than nice hat, dude. Going into the information section, we're just gonna read this synopsis and then come back to the staff listings next time because believe me, I've got a few things to say about it. This world's cooking is ruled over by the delicious happy kingdom of Kingdom, oh god, the names of this franchise. However, one day, an important book that contained the recipes to everything, so basically allrecipes.com, called The Recipe Bone, had been stolen by the Phantom Thief gang Bundoru. Okay, again, let's go through all of the creative naming in this franchise. Recipe Bone is a homonym for recipe book, and Bundoro means to plunder.
That makes sense to me.
The Bundoro gang sought to monopolize all of the cooking in the world, with their next target being the cooking fairy Recipe P.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, so putting those names aside, I do want to point out how the main antagonists of the show are Phantom Thieves, which, yeah, are a little played out at this point. And you know, not just because this franchise already has one, who also became a cure. No, we'll get to you at the end, don't worry. But also because Phantom Thieves have kind of been all over the place, be it in games, other anime, and yes, other toy properties. Now honestly, I don't mind them doing a bunch of variations on similar tropes, but we've also already had a team of magical girls fighting Phantom Thieves. Just saying, Precure, y'all are more than a little late to the party. Looking for the recipe bone in the human realm, the energy fairies arrived in the town of Oishina. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother with the names anymore. 3 human girls would end up borrowing their powers, and in a strange occurrence, they transformed into Precure. Strange compared to everything else? Together, they will get the recipe bone back and protect everyone's deliciousness from the Bonduro gang.
Yes! Taste me! I'm delicious!
We'll get back to this picture later, but I do want to point out this group shot in their Precure forms where we get a good look at their weapons, which appear to be guns that are also French presses. Now you see, these girls got the right idea. Okay, this is legit kind of hard to do on this desk. Okay, so moving on to the character section, we see that right off the bat, we've gone back to the 3-member team again, which personally, I've always kind of preferred as it usually leads to more character focus, and just the theming around the 3 primary colors aesthetic is appealing. Anyway, starting off with the pink lead, because I guess we're done with the big one tributes, we have Cure Precious, real name Yui Nagomi. Got nothing to say about that Precure name, seems kind of standard, though I'm a little surprised it hasn't been used yet, though her surname is kind of clever, basically translating to a taste of Japan. All the while, the character's surrounded by a bunch of rice foods, including 2 onigiri, a stick of dango, and 2 sushi, I think. I mean, this is clearly supposed to be toro or fatty tuna, but I'm not sure if this is supposed to be tamagoyaki. I mean, it looks a little too orange to be eggs, so maybe it's spam musubi? Now that would legit be one of the most Hawaiian things in this whole damn franchise. Yeah, the canned meat is kind of our state's defining trait. Finally, looking at the cure herself, it's an okay design. It's a bit of a standard pink design with nothing really wrong about it, though I do wish she had a bit more of a Japanese design, as clearly her motif seems to be more based around her country's traditional meals, as we'll even learn more in the bio. All of the members of this team seem to wear an apron, but it's not quite featured prominently enough on her in my opinion. I actually think I prefer her civilian form, as the apron motif is featured much more prominently. Her transformation roll call reads, hot food, overflowing power, cure precious. Yeah, just don't carb below too much, girl. Her bio reads that she is a calm yet straightforward second-year student in middle school. She's an only child, and her family runs a teishoku shop, which is basically a traditional set meal. She also has a tendency to get hungry quite fast, and thus will often say, "Delish smile," and "I'm hungry." Well, at least I can relate with that second catchphrase much of the time. She enjoys fresh vegetables, good job promoting healthy eating, and she treasures the words of her grandmother that foods are smiles.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hey, they are a major sponsor. She transforms into Cure Precious with the power of Kome-Kome, which more on her and the other fairies in just a minute. But yeah, kind of a basic, yet still very aimable basis for a pink lead, who at least seems like she's not going to be overly hyperactive, if only because of her accelerated metabolism. Also, we do have a listing for her VA, who's Hana Hishikawa, who, yeah, is pretty much a total noob, though she didn't sound too bad in that trailer that we'll talk about next time as well. Moving on to the blue of the team, we have Cure Spicy, real name Kokone Fuwa, no relation. And already, we have a nice little contrast with Yui, as she's surrounded by breads, which are of course more associated with Western tastes. The Fuwa in her surname also happens to be a homonym for the fluffy texture of bread, as even described in her transformation roll call that reads, a fluffy sandwich with a heart full of spice, Cure Spicy.
Redundant much redundant?
Her design is also much better than Yui's, as her apron is more prominent, plus these buttons do give a bit more of a formal Western vibe. I also kind of like how her hair looks like another kind of pastry. Her bio reads that she is a fashionable, cool beauty.
私これでもほら、クールビューティー目指しとるから。
And loves makeup and cute things. Hopefully the former doesn't become her whole gimmick that they'll just forget about. Her family runs a high-class restaurant, again good contrast with Yui, and she's also an only child, don't know why they have to keep emphasizing that, and everyone around her tended to view her as a flower atop a high pedestal, though she also enjoyed being alone. Okay y'all, let's try and not say same all at once. She doesn't talk a lot, and her favorite foods are of course bread, in particular curry and heart breads. The former is obviously where she got her name from, and also reminds me of a hell of a butler. With Pamu-Pamu, she transforms into Cure Spicy, and her VA is Risa Shimizu, who does have a lot more roles than Hishikawa, but I don't recognize a lot of them, other than Angelica from Show by Rock, who was a cool character, so hopefully she can reflect it in this character. That said, I also wonder if this whole being put on a pedestal thing is going to lead to a sort of Komi-san effect, in that she doesn't like all the worship and just wants to be treated normally. It would explain these latter two traits of her enjoying her solace and not being talkative, so hopefully they'll do something with it. Last up, we have the yellow, Cure Yum Yum, real name Lon Hanamichi, who, yeah, I'm gonna guess has some Chinese heritage, as her preferred starch seems to be Asian noodles, in particular ramen. And unfortunately, I'm not sure what these other noodle dishes are, so feel free to educate me in the comments below. With all that said, I gotta say, Lon easily has my favorite design, as it at least goes all in on its motif. It just looks so distinctly Chinese, with her dress looking a lot slimmer and form-fitting like a China dress, which of course is all brought together with the Chun-Li buns. Yeah, it's a little stereotypical, but at least she's wearing her motif on her sleeve, even though she doesn't have sleeves. Her transformation roll call is Shiny Noodles Emotion Cure Yum Yum.
エモーショナルエンジンフルドライブ。
Her character bio reads, she's a talkative and cute girl, and her family, unsurprisingly, runs a ramen shop, and they all have unique personalities, especially her younger siblings. So wait, was that why they had to distinguish the previous two as only children? Toy, are you trying to suggest there's something wrong with only children? You know, aside from the fact that that would mean fewer kids to buy your toys? If you show any curiosity towards food, she will go on a vigorous tangent and will share all of her unique opinions on them. She also tends to secretly post about food on Curesta, which I think the Hakuto manga established as the Precure world equivalent of Instagram. How much y'all want to bet she tags Gordon Ramsay a lot just to see his reactions?
Ramming cheese on toast? Forget it. I'd like to ram that somewhere. In the toilet.
With Men, she transforms into Cure Yum Yum. Good God, what am I even saying anymore? Anyway, moving on to her VA, and finally, we get someone I know pretty well, Yuka Iguchi. She's a veteran actress who has been in the industry since 2002, and she has played a pretty wide range of characters, from Index to Mugen to Maria. Okay, that's not too far off from the first one. But she also played Voyager from FGO, and of course, what's still fresh in a lot of our minds, if you watch my videos, freaking Miku Kohinata. And I gotta say, this sort of role has been a long time coming for her, and while I doubt she'll sound exactly like Miku based on the bio, I think we can assume she'll at least sound like Yuki Uchiki based on the type's food, and yeah, maybe a little Yuri. But yeah, unlike with Tropical Rouge, where the casting felt like it was fairly balanced with everyone at least being a fairly experienced performer, this one does feel like they're kind of leaning more one way. It could be the case that Toei is trying to foster new talent, or let's face it, more likely it's for budgetary reasons, with the super vet Iguchi meant to act as the backbone to this main cast. Obviously, we can't predict the future, but I do feel like Iguchi could lead this team behind the scenes. So hopefully in turn, Lan won't fade into the background like many Yellow do, because she does have an interesting setup in my opinion. While Kokone is a little more intriguing just for the possibilities she brings to the table, I do kind of like the idea of a passionate food blogger, which hopefully will provide a little more commentary on social media beyond just, hey everyone, why don't you go like our post on the real life Kirsta? Moving on to the mascots, whose castings are a little more balanced in my opinion. First we have Yui's partner, Kome-Kome, which basically translates to rice rice. She is a female white fox energy fairy powered by rice. What did I say about carbo loading? And compared to the other two, she is relatively the youngest and thus carefree and energetic. She also admires Yui and hopes to become big one day. Yeah, kid, you might not want to rush it. I think Renamon is still dealing with her stalkers. When Yui transforms, she herself takes on her Musubi form. Again, slap some spam on that, and you got yourself a winner. But yeah, nothing much else to say about this fox. I mean, it's a good basis for a childish character who hopefully will develop in interesting ways. And I'll say right now, the designs for the mascots are all just kind of fine. They all look like they're animals without anything too distinctive. Her VA will be Natsumi Takamori, who I do enjoy, especially her roles like Mei Misaki from Another, Misaki Kamigusa from Sakura Soul, and of course, Miku Maekawa from Cinderella Girls. So yeah, I guess she went from a cat to a fox, likely because she wasn't pulling off the cat too well. Moving on to Kokone's partner, we have Pamu-Pamu, which I think that's supposed to sound like pawn or bread, but Pamu does sound more like something a dog would say. Oh yeah, it also seems like all the mascots will have Pokemon speak, so we'll see how they'll develop with that restriction. I think her name could also refer to Pomeranian, though she kind of looks more like a Shiba to me. Anyway, she was a female dog energy fairy powered by bread, which, based on my research, you can feed that to them in moderation, though preferably non-flavored ones, so no sweets like melon or onpan, and especially not curry bread unless you want to ruin your carpets. In dog years, I'm guessing, she was 4 to 5 years old, and if complimented, she'd get excited, so yeah, pretty much like any dog ever. She loves Kokone, and when she transforms, she takes on her sandwich form. Don't make me have to play the clip! Don't make me have to play the clip! Damn it.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Her VA is Natsumi Hyoka, who I am currently enjoying as Koharu from Slow Loop this same season, and the less said about Kumamiko, the better. Last up is Lan's partner, Men, which of course means Noodle Noodle, and he's a 4 to 5 year old male dragon. Shenron, you got some splaining to do! He's an easygoing, good kid who was inspired by Lan's passion, and when they transform, he takes on his donburi, or rice bowl form, I guess to act as a side dish. I mean, I do like rice with my ramen. But yeah, nothing much to say about these fairies, at least for now, as they all seem to be subservient to their partners. His VA is Tomoe Hamba, who, wait a minute, Edna from Disgaea? Wait, what else did she play? Mikoto from Gao Gaigar? Okay, legit. I didn't know they had the same VA. Huh, learn something new every day. Moving on to side characters, we got someone from Cook Kingdom who, what the f? Why is James Charles in Precure? Actually, this is Rosemary. Sorry you have to share the same name as the main character from High Guardian Spice. And they were the captain of the Recipe Bowl and Search Squad, and just judging by this picture, they were searching for something else. Police! Help! Police! They have a high sense of beauty, and were knowledgeable about cosmetology, though they also tended to cry a lot.
Does he look like a bitch?
They're voiced by Tomoaki Maino, who I know best as the White Blood Cell, Decken from Death Parade, and surprisingly, Orbital 7 from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeo. And while he'll probably talk with the voice of the former two, I get the feeling I'll only ever be able to see him as that bumbling robot. Alright, moving on, we have a resident from the town of Oishina named Takumi Shinada, who was a childhood friend of Yui and a third-year middle school student, so yeah, he's a year older than our heroines. While confrontational, he has a good heart, and his family runs a guest house. As for Yui, he ellipses.
Why are you acting so nervous? And why are you sweating so much? And...
Yeah, kid, you have all of our support. At the very least, I hope you don't get cock-blocked like poor Seiji was. His VA is Yuma Uchida, who I will always identify as the little brother of Maya Uchida, you know, the VA of Katarina and Hakase from Akiba Ranger. I mean, he is an accomplished VA in his own right, having even recently had his big break as Kyo-Soma from the Fruits Basket remake, but I'm sorry, I just can't help but think about how he played the slightly incestual Dioscuri alongside his sister. One of those times you really don't want to let your parents know what you do for a living. Last thing we'll cover today, because good lord my voice is giving out, will be one of the antagonists of the show, the Boondoro Gang's Gentle. That's weird, you don't look like the tragic trickster. In fact, she kind of looks a lot more like Arsene from Milky Holmes, you know, minus the possible plagiarism aside. I do really like this design with the black and red cape and bone button vest that might be paying homage to the antagonists of the Yatterman rather than wholesale stealing from them. That said, yeah, even without any bow, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? I mean, for God's sake, she has Ai Kayano as her VA. She has the voice of Kika in the same show where Miku is one of the leads. You know where they're going with this. Side note, my favorite role of hers is of course Darkness from Konosuba, but I don't think that character is exactly PG. Also, considering what she does for her YouTube channel, I wonder if she'll drink all of those orange sodas. But yeah, honestly, that's all I can physically do for today. I just really hope I can get this edited all together in a timely fashion. Though do come back next time, as we'll cover some of the more behind-the-scenes stuff, including the staff listings and interviews with the cast, as well as my own final thoughts on the show so far. In the meantime though, feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comments below. And until then though, farewell for now my friends, and oh yeah, there goes the caffeine rush. Nighty night.